Hi everyone, Todd Dion with Hill International Group, powered by Fathom Realty, a realtor who wants to help you list your home or sell your home. And I'm coming to you with an Austin market report that was released at the end of February for January 2021. And I want to share these statistics with you that are going to help you understand why it's a seller's market, and if you're a seller, why you can get top dollar for your home at the moment beyond probably what you thought you could. And then also buyers as well, why you may be experiencing some frustration with trying to find a home and going into a very competitive situation where homes are receiving multiple offers. I'll share with you some statistics that's going to help you understand why you're experiencing that. Now, when we talk about the Austin real estate market, we're really talking about 5 counties: Williamson, Travis, Hayes, Caldwell, and Bastrop counties. That's what this market report is covering. Now, if we look at the sales, so for a 5-year history, the record sale was 4,537 sales in July of 2020. Incredible month. You can see that peak over on the right side of the chart. And now we're also seeing a reduction that's related to a lack of inventory. So now you see the drop in sales in January of 2021, and you can see that scale really sliding from July to January. And there's reasons for that, and we'll get into it in just a moment. But the January average for the past 5 years was 1,800, and this January it was 2,500. So still up, but based on where we're at and what the activity we're seeing, it's still not high enough because there's just not enough listings on the market at the moment. So you can see again on this next slide that of the active listings, there was a high July 17th. This is 2017, so this is over a 5-year period. That over the 5-county region, there were 5,500. The downturn began in March, rebounded in April, and now it continues to fall. If we look back, it correlates to the reaction to the pandemic and maybe the fear that people were having about selling their homes and having people come into their homes, all of those types of things which could, sort of activate this type of reaction and this trend that we're seeing in the market right now. Months of inventory, and this is something that's really important because in a typical market there's 6 months worth of inventory, and that's a balanced market. And right now it's 0.4 months of inventory, and that's extreme, and it's really unheard of. It's an insanely strong seller's market, and again, it's why the buyers are in multiple, are in offers, making offers, and there are multiple offers on nearly every home in the Austin market right now. This is the other thing that I want you to understand about this market. If the typical market is 6 months, that means 6 months you may have a house on the market for 90 to 120 days before it goes under contract. That means that sellers, it's not a seller's market at that point. You're not getting insanely high offers on the home because there's lots of inventory on the market, and it makes it more competitive. And then for buyers, they can take their time. They can shop around, they can go find homes, they can look at, maybe narrow it down to 3 or 4 homes. They can take a month or 2 months looking at these houses because they know they're not going to get under contract, or they suspect they're not going to get under contract quickly. So what that does, or what this means when you see 0.4 months of inventory, it means that you as a buyer, you don't have time to shop. You don't have time to look around. There is an urgency on you as a buyer that if you find something that works, if you find something that it may not check all your boxes, it may not be everything that you prefer, but if you need a house and you find something that's there, you really need to act on it. The other side of that for buyers is considering new construction. And of course, I want to stress, with the Hill International Group, powered by Fathom Realty, you really need a realtor on your side in this market, whether you're a seller or a lister, or a seller or a buyer. You've got to have a realtor on your side whether you're going for resale or new construction. And we at Hill International Group want to be the realtors that earn your trust and guide you through the process and help you be successful in finding the home. We want to walk with you through this entire process because it's stressful and it's difficult, and you need an advocate that knows the market, understands what's going on, and can help you. That when you're getting cold feet, that can remind you of your urgency and what you need. So that's just a little plug for Hill International Group. But really, if you look at the inventory, that's why, or the low inventory in the months of inventory, it means that a house, if it's listed, it's going to be sold within a week. So as a buyer, you don't have time to wait, and as a seller, you need to get ready because things are going to be coming at you so quick, and you need to be prepared to sell as well. That's month of inventory. Now, days on market, you can see 33 days is the average, and again, that's pretty unheard of. The typical days on market is 90. I mentioned that, and we bottom out at 33 days on market again in January. And again, that's the average. Many homes I'm seeing sell within 2 weeks under contract with multiple offers on that home. The average sales price decreased $32,000, and the median decrease is $5,000. Now, we don't know if we're still going to try to figure out if the decrease in January is a sign of things to come. But my guess is we'll see an average of around $500,000 in February once we get the numbers for February. So in other words, prices are going up, and they're going to remain up for a while. And a lot of that, again, has to do with the amount of inventory on the market, the amount of demand. So the supply is low, the demand is high, so prices go up. We also are seeing 150 people a day move into Texas who need housing. And then we're also in a situation probably where, and you may be in the situation where you've been in an apartment or a condo, you've settled for that for a little while, it's worked for you, and now you need to get into a home. Maybe your family's growing, or you just need to get to a different location. You're going to struggle finding the place, and you need to be prepared for the emotional, mental challenges that are ahead of you to get to your new home. Prices. So the average sales price if the current trend continues, we could see the average price of around $605,000 and the median around $505,000. And unfortunately, there may be some people who are going to get priced out of the market temporarily. And this is something to keep in mind. You have to have, if you're going to go into resale specifically, and you're going to go make an offer on a home, you need to have cash on hand. You've got to have some extra cash. The typical 20% down or 10% down on a home for a conventional loan is just not going to work. And there's some strategies for that, but those are just things to keep in mind as well. I don't want to discourage you, but this is just the truth of what we're facing in the market at the moment. Now, with list price to sales price, what we're seeing is homes are being sold over list price, just the way it is. And it's exceeding, every home that's sold right now seems to be exceeding the list price. And that's just the nature of the market. Again, low supply, high demand, and this is what we get. Now, what does all this mean? Now, this is important for sellers and buyers, just for you to understand the market. And I think if you look at the real estate market in general, it gives you a really good indicator of the economy overall. And the economy kind of affects, people's feelings about the economy affects the economy, so to speak. So here's the short term for sellers. You're going to have high appreciation. It's a seller's market. You're going to be able to achieve, get more out of your house than you ever thought you could. Condition is less important. I mean, you need to keep things important, but the demand's so high, you could probably get away with, not painting the kitchen cabinets or not doing those upgrades that you may have had to have done in the past to sell the home. Now, that's per case basis. It needs to be evaluated per home and per family, but condition is less important. You're going to receive multiple offers. It's going to be stressful. And again, that's why you need a real estate agent to list. For those who may be in the category of thinking, I'll do a for sale by owner, first of all, you're not going to get the amount of money that you thought you would because by not having a realtor, because you're not really going to have all the resources to know how to price your home right, and you're going to be less likely to negotiate so that you can get the highest price. So again, if you're in a for sale by owner situation now, reach out to us, let us give you an evaluation, let us talk to you, and we can maybe help you get more from your home than you thought, even with paying the real estate agent. I mean, that's why we're here. We are professionals, and we bring all these resources and tools to you. Now there's going to be another part of this that we're going to see. We haven't felt it yet, but there's going to be an increasing values in property taxes. It's going to place more pressure on homeowners on a fixed income. So the home prices are going up, the appraisals are going up for tax appraisals, so everything, your taxes are based on those appraisals. Your taxes are going to be more. That's the bad news in all this. So for buyers, what can we see here? Let's pull up these next slides and get the notes going. On the short term, if you're going to get into a home, remember, or look for a home that's very low inventory, you got to have your financing in place. If you are a buyer, you must get pre-approved. Reach out to us. We've got partners that can help you get that, and reach out to me, and anyone on the Hill International group, and we can work with you on that. You're going to be in multiple competing offers. The offers are going to be above list price. If you see a home in your cap, like you can only get $280,000, and you see a home on the market for $280,000, you're not going to get that home unless you have cash, $50,000 or $60,000 in the bank. Unfortunately, that's the market we're in right now for buyers. You're going to have extra cash on hand over and above what your financing is. So I work with buyers often, and they look and they're financed for a certain amount, and they think they can get a home, and they just can't because they don't have the cash on hand. There's still opportunities. There's still strategies that we can come up with, and that's why, again, you need a realtor to help you out to think through those strategies. You need to have attractive terms in the offer, such as high earnest money, high option fee. You got to waive appraisal contingency. You got to let the lender do the appraisal. If it doesn't appraise for what you're financing for, you've got to come up with that extra cash on hand along with your down payment to pay, to get into the home. Just for us. Why are listings declining? Here we go. Uncertainty related to the pandemic. And I would say this. I don't know. I want to be careful here, but I think it's uncertainty related to the reaction to the pandemic. I think people are kind of getting beyond the fear mongering that happened around that, but I think it's now what's the new administration going to do, right? How are they going to respond? Uncertainty related to the presidential election, uncertainty related to the economy. We're seeing inflation. We're seeing interest rates begin to creep up a little bit, and this is important for buyers. Please hear me. If you're waiting and you want to get the best interest rate, you need to start looking now, because the indicators are the interest rates are going to begin to move upwards throughout the year, just partly due to what we're seeing here on this slide. Sellers are the reason there's low inventory for buyers is because sellers are a little fearful still of selling their home and not having a place to go. So if you're in a position as a buyer and you have some time in your lease left, and you can lease back the home to the seller for a few months to help them transition, that's a great strategy when you're putting together an offer. Where is it going? We're going to see reduced cases and deaths of COVID-19. The economy should recover as lockdowns decrease. Please, right? Please let us see that happen in other states around the country. And more than likely, we're going to see an uptick in inventory in the spring. That's typically what we see anyway in the real estate market. And hopefully that comes back around and people feel a little more comfortable with having people through their home and putting it in, and what their next step would be. So hopefully we'll see this improve in the spring, and then buyers are going to have more opportunity, and maybe it'll begin to balance out a little bit, but it all depends on that supply coming back into the market. Well, my name is Todd Dion. I hope this has helped you to understand what's going on in the Austin market. Again, if you need a real estate agent who's going to represent you, whether you are a seller or a buyer, please reach out. My contact information is on the slide, and I'll be happy to help you any way that I can. Have a great week and stay safe, everyone.